cost of the pandemic, in terms of American lives, has been high. So now the American taxpayer is footing the bill for a vaccine that promises to end the crisis. It's been dubbed Operation Warp Speed by Donald Trump. $10 billion of taxpayer money has been pumped into big pharma corporations. They're said to be hard at work, trying to find a cure for COVID-19.
We hope that as the time we get into the late fall and early winter, we will have, in fact, a vaccine that we can say would be safe and effective.
It seems like great news on the face of it. However, Big Pharma doesn't seem to be willing to abandon its shareholders in this time of great public need. One leading U.S. corporation, Moderna Incorporated, reportedly pitched the vaccine at $50 to $60 per shot, with 2 shots required. Some say they are not surprised.
We have seen in the past that the pharmaceutical companies have overcharged, have price gouged. So why in the world would we imagine that they would make it affordable?
But they are not all singing the same tune. Drug giant Johnson & Johnson, which has received over $600 million in taxpayer money, says it's committed to providing the vaccine at no profit during the emergency pandemic period. But this thinking is far from universal. The CEO of Pfizer says that he thinks it's pretty unrealistic to think that Big Pharma won't profit from the pandemic.
I think it's very wrong. You need to be very fanatic and radical to say something like that right now. Who's finding the solution? The private sector found the solution for diagnostics, and the private sector found the solution for therapeutics, and is along the way to find more solutions for therapeutics and vaccines. So how can you say something like that? It doesn't make sense.
People are working, the scientists, laboratory, they're working, and they should be paid for their labor. Nothing's free. Someone paid for it. You know, the government by taxes, or the pharmaceutical industry by, putting their money and their time and talent to develop this vaccine. They have to recoup it. But clearly there's got to be that balance between free, which is not reasonable, and very, very expensive. What we should do is really prioritize things. So we should take care of who's at risk: the elderly, the sick. If you had chemotherapy or heart disease or morbid obesity, those people should get the care first. Someone like me, or perhaps certainly younger, they don't need it, because the likelihood of you dying is incredibly low. I mean, if you want to get it, fine, but the first people should be the ones at risk. And this is like triage. You can't fix everybody. Take care of those who are sickest first, and that's reasonable.
As a vaccine is pretty essential for some to return to normality, CEOs are looking at their stock margins and at their bank accounts. But there's another side to this as well. Who foots the bill for any side effects or any damage that's done? Who is liable? Across the Atlantic, AstraZeneca, the second largest drug maker in the United Kingdom, also sponsored by the United States, says that it has been granted exemptions from product liability claims in most countries.
In the contracts we have in place, we are asking for indemnification. For most countries, it is acceptable to take that risk on their shoulders because it is in their national interest.
The race for a COVID vaccine is a life-saving endeavor. But when you're in business, profits are key. And even at a time like this, big companies are not forgetting that. Caleb Maupin, RT, New York.